There's something about the rhythm of the paddle and the stillness of the water. Everything slows down just enough for the real thoughts to surface. The noise fades, the pressure fades, and what's left is purpose. Entrepreneurship is a lot like this river. It twists, it pushes, it tests you. And if you're not grounded, you'll drift. You learn to move with it, not against it. Being on the water becomes meditation. The urgency, the noise, the weight of decisions, gone. You can't control everything. You just learn to move with it. I'm Justin Mast. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the Electric Plant Company. I grew up in a greenhouse family. I spent a lot of time in the greenhouse as a really little kid. It was a very free space to kind of do what I wanted in a really interesting environment. The first time I remember having the impulse to start a business was actually to get out of work. My parents wanted to teach me a work ethic from a really young age, so I'd have to go into the greenhouse and do jobs like pulling weeds under the benches or turning a big thing of cardboard into 1,000 boxes. It was very boring, very tedious. My cousin and I were trying to figure out a way to get out of it, and we had this idea, what if we sell plants on the street corner instead? It was freezing cold, pouring rain, but it was still way better than doing manual labor inside the greenhouse, and we loved it. That was my first taste of entrepreneurship. So a lot of people ask me, how did you go from Bloomscape to Electric Plant? We spent a lot of time really trying to understand people's relationship with plants, and I always had this feeling that there was just more there if we could just unlock that. So what's the kind of technology that helps us understand plants in a new and interesting way? And that's when I came across the work of a researcher at MIT who had created a cyborg plant. This plant was on what looked like a Roomba robot, and it was attached to a bunch of wires and using the plant's own leaves as a light sensor to drive the robot where there was more light in the room. So this completely shattered my perception on what plants are. I've been around plants my entire life. How did I not know this? So the aha moment for me came after two big realizations. One, that plants actually use electrical signals to communicate and process information. And two, that plants are far more intelligent and more aware of their environment than I realized. This sense of gravity really pulled to me and said, there's something big here worth building around.
Electric Plant Company was a wild idea. They're doing something that has never really been done before. He thinks he could measure soil tension, and we could give alerts if there's potentially going to be a mudslide, and that could save lives. This would be more of a proactive warning system, and you could really tie together data and how it affects humans and help them. If this had been around for Flint, we could have let people know that there was lead in the water and you probably shouldn't drink it. But to believe that you can talk to a plant and read its mind is in the realm of science fiction. And so you start to get into this weird place where you have to believe like you can create something that never existed. And Justin is just crazy enough to do it, and he found Lee, who is actually brilliant enough to do it.
What you're looking at behind me is, as far as we know, the largest plant electrophysiology lab in the world. A lot of what's important about this is we're facilitating and stimulating research within this field that is underrepresented and yet has this huge potential that we might be able to take advantage of. We're one of the drivers behind this discovery process of, how far can we push plant intelligence research?
People's perception of the city of Detroit has changed a lot since we moved here. Detroit presented the idea that you could do things differently and filled with people who had big ideas and wanted to try something totally wild and crazy. That's what attracted me to the city in the first place, and it felt like you could be a part of something that mattered. And the quality of life here is very underrated. I mean, you have a city that's not overpopulated, that has a lot of great amenities, but it's affordable, it's easy to live in. So you have access to talent, you have access to capital. And I think as entrepreneurs, one of the best things we can do is to build a lasting, profitable business that can employ people, create good jobs, and be a great economic contributor to the city. What Detroit needs to thrive, you need ambitious and talented people. We have that. You need a beautiful city with history and context. We have that. And you need access to capital. We also have that. We just need to keep doing what we're doing, and we'll keep growing like we're growing. What's really exciting about what we're doing here is that everyone we've talked to wants to use plant intelligence to do something that they're doing differently or better. So I see this as fundamentally a very disruptive, in a good way, a disruptive technology that's going to change how a lot of people do things. There are billions, trillions of plants that cover the face of the planet, and they are communicating everything from how thirsty they are to how many nutrients they need. They're tracking geological shifts. I think they're understanding and aware of what humans are doing around them. So if we can unlock that intelligence layer, I think we can completely reshape how people see the world in its entirety. And I'm really excited for that.